Stalkers, this is Derek Klein coming to you from the Hail Palace again today on April the 8th. I wanted to take a brief moment here real quick just to recap the activity that we had yesterday. We had several rounds of thunderstorms that developed. The first one early in the morning around Columbia, rolled straight down I-70 towards St. Louis, Missouri, producing golf ball size hail all the way there. If you look at our previous videos on Facebook and also on our web blog, from yesterday, we've actually got some video from the St. Louis area, courtesy of Richards Building Supply. They sent that in to us yesterday. Some really good video showing golf ball size hail falling in the St. Louis metro area. That's a 3-star map that we have available. Just jump online, you can purchase that, or give us a call, 855-334-4245. In addition to that, we had some activity overnight in Kansas, and then here just recently in the last few minutes, we had some activity roll through the Indianapolis area producing quarter-size hail. And we've got a map online for that. That was kind of a high volume type small hail but high volume hail event in the Indianapolis area. That's online, available for you as well. And in fact, that storm just happened about 30 minutes ago. Guys have been up all night long working on these storms, keeping things going for you to make sure that you have the most and latest up-to-date information. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to really focus on with this. This is the April 8th and 9th hail forecast. We've got a lot of activity to talk about for today. Really a lot of uncertainty in the forecast today as well, and we'll kind of touch on that, let you know what to expect, what we're not sure about, what we think could happen, a couple of different scenarios that might roll out. So taking a look at the ingredients, first of all, we've got high instability across a large portion of the United States, stretching from Ohio all the way back through Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, down into Kansas and Oklahoma, and even parts of north central Texas as well. So lots of instability. That's created by all the moisture that we have, so high content of moisture, and we have a moderate to high level of shear as well. Shear is going to go to the high level as we go into the day tomorrow, but for today, Wednesday, we've got a moderate level of shear to low end high level of shear. So again, ingredients are there for quite a bit of severe weather, and it's going to cause storms all over the country as we go through the day. So here's a look at the forecast map for today. We've got a lot of moisture, we've got the dry air coming in, we've got a low pressure that's going to develop back over here in Kansas, and all this is going to be a focal ground for severe weather in our red area here. You can see we've got the battle zone set up. So we've got the warm front will be firing storms, we've got the dry line is going to be firing storms. In addition to that, all these complexes, we've got a complex right here in Kansas, we've got a complex here in Indiana right now. These complexes are going to set off little boundaries all over this area, and those will have the potential to create severe weather as well. So a lot going on, a lot of uncertainty. Some of this stuff we don't know where it's going to set up yet this morning, as we'll kind of see where these boundaries from all these thunderstorm complexes, where they set up. And when those set up, that's when we'll have a better idea of where those heavy to severe big hail-making thunderstorms will actually set up and develop across the area. So let's take a look at what we expect for today. We've got a couple different areas that we're going to be watching. So we're going to have back here in this area, we've got Indiana, Ohio. We've got this complex of storms that's moving through Indiana right now. That should continue to move off to the east. It'll probably weaken some this morning, but there's a chance that it could refire this afternoon across parts of Kentucky and Ohio. If that happens, that would be that area that we might have some severe storms along that boundary that sets up. But then we've got the warm front draped across here, more severe weather possible there. We've got this complex as well that's in Kansas right now. That's going to move east towards St. Louis, and a lot of models are hinting that this area could really fire up as we go through the afternoon. So a lot of uncertainty here is, will this area really develop? Will it take off as we go through the afternoon as the heat and instability develops? I think it will, but we're going to watch that. That's an area that we're going to watch very closely, because if that happens, very large hail would be possible in the St. Louis metro. As we go back to the west, we're going to have southeast Kansas, northern central Oklahoma, western Oklahoma. All has an opportunity for very, very large hail, up to softball size hail as possible today as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. Really trying to figure out exactly where that dry line sets up. It's going to play a big role. Right now it looks like it's going to be very close to Wichita and runs up towards Kansas City, and then to the west of Oklahoma City. We've got a couple of models that have the storms really shooting the gap, so going between Oklahoma City and Wichita and between Kansas City and Tulsa. So we'll take a look at that as we go through the afternoon, kind of see where that's going to set up. But the chances there, and it's fairly high for Kansas City, Wichita, Oklahoma City, and Tulsa today to have significant hail if the timing can be right and if the storms develop in the right areas. So let's go ahead and break it down by city. Let's take a look first of all at Indianapolis, Indiana. You've already had some hail this morning, quarter size, but the potential's there this afternoon for maybe some larger hail we'll go about a 30% chance for some larger hail this afternoon from about 5 to 10 p.m. That's not including the storms that you're getting this morning. Wind driven, yeah, there could be some 70-mile-per-hour winds in Indianapolis. As we head back to the west towards St. Louis. Now, we made this earlier. Again, model trends are now trending up on this, so we might want to go ahead and bump this up on the St. Louis area. Let's go ahead and bump this to tennis ball size hail possible today. So that's definitely an increase. We're going to bump the 15%. Let's go ahead and take that up to about a 30-35% chance in the St. Louis area for this afternoon. We'll go from about 5 p.m. until about 2 a.m. up in St. Louis as well. So, and wind-driven hail definitely possible. We'll go 60 to 70 mile-per-hour winds potential with those storms in St. Louis. So, update on this graph for the St. Louis metro area there for sure. First thing this morning, looking at the newest data. As we go down the line down towards Kansas City, 2.5 baseball size, tennis baseball size hail, definitely a likelihood in that area. 4 to 11 p.m. Some of the new data says maybe a little bit earlier in that area. 40% chance of hail, so it's a fairly significant, nearly a high chance of hail. Wind-driven hail, about 70 mile-per-hour winds possible, maybe even a little higher with some of those more intense storms around Kansas City. As we continue to jot down the line, we're going into the Wichita area. Larger hail possible, especially if that boundary can lift back to the west and hit the area there in Wichita. So softball size hail potential is there in Wichita. The chance of hail about 30%. If that boundary backs up to the west, that chance of hail goes up a lot in the Wichita area. So we'll be watching that. 75 mile-per-hour winds, definitely a likelihood with any severe storms that happen. These storms from Kansas City down to Wichita, down to Tulsa, Oklahoma City, all these are going to have a fairly significant tornado risk as well. So these aren't going to be storms that you're going to want to mess around with. You're definitely going to want to seek shelter if you're in the path of one of these storms. But in addition to the tornadoes, obviously we've got a extremely large hail threat as well. As we head down the line towards Tulsa, softball size hail again possible. Right now we'll go about a 40% chance for hail in the Tulsa metro area. Again, some uncertainties. Will the storm stay to the north? There's also a possibility of a complex of storms developing early afternoon, say around 2 or 3 o'clock, moving into the Tulsa area between 4 and 8 o'clock. That's probably our most likely opportunity for really large hail. If that complex does not develop and we have the dry line that fires in western Oklahoma, the storms likely won't make it to Tulsa producing large hail. So that'll be the question, is can the storms develop before the main line of storms develops out in western Oklahoma this afternoon? If that happens, big time storms for Tulsa this afternoon. So that'll be something to watch as we go through the early afternoon for the Tulsa area. And as we go through Oklahoma City, again, that first wave could develop right over Oklahoma City, say between noon and 3 o'clock. And so that'll be something to watch. There will be a hail potential with that. And then there'll be a second round of storms that should develop in the early evening. And it may even go later than 10 o'clock, what we have listed here. So that'll be something to watch as well. And those would have the potential for very large hail, tornadoes. The hail chance right now in Oklahoma City about 35%. So really similar to what we have in the Tulsa area. And max winds around 75 miles per hour. If you notice, Oklahoma City, we have upped the chances for hail today. So again, we're not going significant. As you remember on the 25th, we had like a 60% chance of hail for Tulsa and Oklahoma City, but the chance is there, and this is really just a sign of some of the uncertainty. We're not really for sure where all the storms are going to develop with all the different boundaries that are floating around out there right now. So as that clears up, we'll have a lot more details into that, and that's kind of what we'll be watching and focusing on as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. So that's a look at our forecast for tomorrow, just kind of a sneak peek at what we have for the day on Thursday, April 9th. We've got 2 pockets where we're actually expecting the potential for some very large hail and really a long line of storms that may develop. And this purple area may actually extend down into the St. Louis area for Thursday as well. So St. Louis, you guys may have 3 straight days of pretty active severe weather. But we've got Chicago, we've got St. Louis, we've got Milwaukee up here, goes straight down through St. Louis, Little Rock, Fort Smith, Dallas, all in the line here for Thursday. So that's what we'll be watching. As we see kind of how these storms develop today, we'll learn a lot more about what's going to happen tomorrow. So hope everybody has a great day. Again, if you need anything from HailTrace, 855-334-4245. We're here to answer any questions you might have, and we hope you make it a great day.